And then I remember when Windows 98 came out, they were in lines around the building. I said, why didn't they just buy a Mac if they just wanted to point and click? I mean, I've had one for 10 years.
So tell us a little bit about your history and how the genesis of the Bitcoin boom, or what got you in the space, but even before that, what got you into tech in general and podcasting?
Well, I was always really interested in tech. I bought my first computer, I think, in like '83. I bought a Mac I went in the store. I didn't even know what I wanted. I said I need a computer, and I saw a friend of mine, and he was buying a compact with two places to put in the floppy disks.
Yeah.
And I
Oh
said,
my
I guess I want one of those. He goes, do you know how to write DOS? I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he goes, well, that computer won't do you much good, but you might like this new one we just got in last week. It's an Apple Macintosh.
Oh, how funny.
And I said, well, what's the difference? He goes, oh, you just point and click this? I
Yeah.
said, well, I'll take that puppy.
I was going to say, usually the tech people don't like the Macs because
Yeah.
you can't like get under the hood.
But I went home and I was on it right away doing stuff. And then I remember when Windows 98 came out, they were in lines around the building. I said, why didn't they just buy a Mac if they just wanted to point and click? I mean, I've had one for 10 years. But I got into computers and I really enjoyed it. And as I was saying before the show, I wish they had computers when I was in high school. Oh my gosh, I probably would have just been in my room all the time. Oh, that's what's happening now, these kids. Though.
Yeah.
So, I started my first e-commerce site in '96, and everybody said, that's crazy. No one's going to buy stuff from you on the internet. And I said, well, I would buy stuff. So I started like the first wallpaper website for wallpaper that goes on your walls.
Yeah.
And I ended up in the e-commerce field. I ended up with, I just retired like 2 years ago, but I had like 20 e-commerce sites when I retired.
Wow.
I had the wallpaper website. Have you ever seen those little football helmets? They're like little mini helmets. I had minihelmets.com.
Oh
I had
my goodness.
baseballjunk.com.
Were you like Michael Saylor, where you grabbed up a bunch of these domain names
Yes,
before everybody thought to do it?
Yeah, I had a lot. But originally, though, when I was starting out, domain names were $175 back then.
Huh.
So you didn't grab a lot of them, unless you really knew it.
Interesting.
So, but I still have a lot of domains. If the word podcast is in it,
Yeah.
and
You
a
own it?
sport, baseball
Mm.
podcast, basketball podcast, football podcast. I think I sold football podcast, but it was a soccer team that bought it. Golf podcast, tennis podcast.
European football.
Yeah, you name the sport, and if it's the word podcast plural, pod or pods plural, I own that domain. Probably Wall Street podcast, New York pods. I mean, I have a
Wow.
lot of podcasts. Because when I was buying podcast domains, you could get whatever you wanted, except the sex ones.
Mm.
They were gone. Those guys are quick in tech.
Oh, wow.
No matter what you put, because then I was just like fishing on what in the heck is available
Yeah.
here. There's no curse words that were available.
Were you beating out Michael Saylor? Because he got hope.com and
Well, he paid big money for those, though, I think. I don't think.
did he? He didn't buy them
I
up
felt
originally?
I felt like when I heard that story that he bought those for decent money, maybe not the money they're worth now, but
Yeah.
he wasn't getting them for $19 or $100. I don't know this. I'll
Yeah.
ask him Saturday, but I don't know that for
Oh,
sure.
man, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
There's one big party in Miami.
Yes, it will be. But I don't know that for sure. But that was my introduction into computers or technology and that's actually how I found out about Bitcoin was because of that.
Hey, it's Amy. Click over here to subscribe, click over here for more content, and we'll see you next time.